In 1999, the Sony PlayStation dominated the gaming world. Cartridges were getting one last push with the N64, while the Saturn was dying a slow death, prompting Sega to release their new system, the Dreamcast, in the US. Priced at $200, this was the world's first 128-bit console. It supported over 16 million colors and had a resolution of 640 by 480, making it the most powerful system at the time.
Make one wrong move and I'll shoot.
The graphics for the Dreamcast were nothing short of a revelation. You look at Sonic Adventure with the Orca right there behind Sonic, and there's that many different colors and that much speed that's happening. It really was a sense that we had seen the true future of where video games were going to go. Yes!
Not only was the Dreamcast the first console to have a built-in modem, but was also the first to release downloadable content, adding missions and items for titles like Skies of Arcadia and Phantasy Star Online.
Broadband is really the experience that you want for gaming. Unfortunately, the dial-up was a little slow, a little clunky, but I was there with a little keyboard. I bought a special keyboard just with a special Dreamcast plug so I could get online and talk trash with other 14-year-old kids.
Along with 4 controller ports, the system was boxed with a single D-pad that had 2 expansion slots, which many fans took advantage of with their LCD memory cards called Visual Memory Units, or VMUs.
The VMU is the greatest creation in the history of peripherals. You could call your plays on your controller so your friend next to you couldn't see what you were doing. And that was a game changer.
Stay tuned.
The system successfully sold 500,000 units in the first 2 weeks of infancy. This was aided by several launch titles like Soul Calibur and Ready to Rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble! Ready to Rumble, I brought with me when I did Road Trip. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't beat this certain guy that I threw my controller in anger and it smashed the glass coffee table in my hotel room and broke it.
Over 700 games were released on the Dreamcast, many of them with add-on peripherals ranging from microphones to fishing rods.
You could buy a pair of maracas, virtual maracas, to play a maraca game.
While some games were ports of popular arcade titles like Crazy Taxi.
I loved Crazy Taxi. And people make fun of me for loving Crazy Taxi, but you loved Crazy Taxi too.
And the classic zombie shooter House of the Dead 2.
I don't want to die!
Many titles were a mix of the offbeat, like the experimental open-world adventure Shenmue.
It was supposed to be a living world where everybody had a set daily routine, and you were part of that world. If you want to go on missions, great. If you want to get a job, fine, drive a forklift. Are you looking for sailors? Yeah, that was actually a plot point.
Who the hell is it?
Hey, you were looking for sailors.
As pedantic or as simple as the game can sound when you explain it, to actually play that game, especially at that time, was just awe-inspiring.
Cut the crap!
However, it was titles like Project Seaman that really pushed the envelope.
Guess what we're doing over here?
You actually had a microphone that was attached to your gigantic Dreamcast controller, and you talked to this fish thing.
What's up?
But it had a person face, and it birthed itself out of this like giant nautilus.
For people like me, it taught me a lot about responsibility, because if you didn't feed that little dude in his creepy-ass face, he was gonna die. And then you felt bad about that.
I'm mad at you right now.
That dude lived in your TV.
What an experiment. Let's release a microphone and let you talk to a fish. Thank you, Sega.
Baby, you rock my tank.
Despite these attempts to push the boundaries of video games, the Dreamcast would fail. Partially due to the release of the DVD-friendly PlayStation 2 1 year later. Ultimately, the Dreamcast would only go on to sell about 10 million units, compared to the PS2, which was 15 times that. In 2001, Sega would end the production of the Dreamcast only 3 years after its release.
I think the Dreamcast should be best regarded, obviously with warm memories for certain games that were on it, but more importantly, that was the end of the era when interesting things were happening on consoles. And I didn't say successful things, and I didn't say good things, but interesting things.
Don't worry, I'll take you out.
While games would continue to be developed for the Dreamcast in Japan until 2007, Sega would shift its focus to software, ending its 20-year run of producing home gaming consoles.
Were there missteps? Absolutely, but through those missteps, we actually saw their best foot forward. I love the Dreamcast. It's still my favorite console of all time.